Hello, everyone, and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, May 8th, and my name is Brian Dunn. Usually, Kristen is here in studio to welcome you into the newscast, but I am here currently inside the NHS gym for a breaking sports announcement. Kristen McDonald, our very own news anchor and NHS boys basketball coach, was selected for the Boston Herald Girls Basketball Coach of the Decade. I chatted with Kristen earlier this week to get her thoughts on this incredible milestone of her coaching career.
It's a huge honor. I really appreciate that they did that.
Kristen McDonald, a name synonymous with success in the high school basketball world, adds another notch to the belt, and she is donned Boston Herald Coach of the Decade, a feat, as McDonald will tell you, is made possible by the players on the court.
When you have two players of the decade on the list as well, and you have what I would argue probably a couple others, I think it's a little bit easier to be the coach of the decade with players like that. And then beneath that list are about 40 to 50 more kids that, would probably be on the JV team of the all decade. So I've been blessed with a lot of talent throughout my high school career.
One standout being Ashley Russell, a member of the Herald All-Decade team and two-time Gatorade Player of the Year, who learned as a member of Coach McDonald's WOMP teams the importance of player development and the will to win.
As a coach, she is just really great at developing individual players, but also the team players, because she really prioritizes the idea that team success is way greater than any individual success. And I kind of think that our whole team is a testament to her teaching all of us that, just in the way that we approach the game and just prioritizing winning over any individual stat or anything like that, which is kind of how she is about herself. She would rather the team win than her individually get any accolade or anything like that.
With that in mind, a dynasty was built, including multiple Division I state titles and a 63-game winning streak. The destination never got old for McDonald, but the journey to get there is something she never took for granted and always enjoyed.
I think that's where you get more excited as a coach, just because you know how much they put in behind the scenes. People will see their accolades and see what they've done and even what we've been able to accomplish as a team when we were together. But I think being a coach, you get to see every part of it, the highs and lows. And so to end and to really be on the top is pretty significant, and couldn't be prouder of them. And they're also the best group of kids too, so it makes it even that much better.
Coach McDonald has a bright future. The trailblazer for the girls' game now enters the boys' arena, and she prepares for her second season at the helm of Norwood boys basketball. But one thing she'll take with her, along with her memories and championships, is her winning culture philosophy.
No, I think it's little by little, if you create a winning culture, and not necessarily even that ends in wins, I think one where you're expecting it every single second, and that nothing less is okay. I think there is something to be said for that being infectious. And so if that can be your expectation over time, and you really put in the hours outside of it where you're working with the youth program, which is the most important piece, I think you'll have a good chance. And then just focus on things you truly believe in as, core values. Stick to them no matter how hard it gets and no matter how many people tell you that you're wrong. Try to stay true to you, and hopefully you'll do okay.
And if the last 10 years are any indication, Norwood's basketball program could not be in better hands. Reporting for Norwood News, I'm Brian Dunn. That's incredible what you've been able to accomplish in a 10-year span, Kristen. Congratulations to you. And now, I'll throw it over to Anchor Kristen for more Norwood News.
Wow. I have never had to hide tears on a newscast before. That was unbelievable. Thank you so much to Brian and to all of NCM for that. And I can't say enough that it's all about the people you surround yourself with. And I have been very blessed in all aspects of my life to have been able to do that. So thanks again. I appreciate that so much. Moving on to the news. Governor Charlie Baker announced last week that starting Wednesday, May 6th, it will be mandatory to wear face masks when out in public. Norwood's Health Director, Sigal Reese, gives us more.
Hi, Sigal Reese, Norwood's Public Health Director. The Governor has issued an order for all residents of the Commonwealth to wear face coverings when they can't maintain social distancing, both indoors and outdoors. It's important to wear a face covering when you go into stores or into areas where you might come in contact with other people. Face coverings can include cloth masks, scarves, or any material that cover your nose and mouth. We want to make sure that those medical grade masks and N95 respirators are reserved for our healthcare workers.
Thanks, Sigal, for the information. Also, earlier this week, the town announced the COVID-19 Community Test Program. Let's learn more.
Monday, General Manager Tony Mazzucco, Public Health Director Sigal Reese, and the Norwood Hospital President Salvatore Perla announced that the town of Norwood, in partnership with the hospital, is now providing COVID-19 testing for Norwood residents. The town has secured 1,000 tests designated for Norwood residents. Any resident with symptoms or who believes they have been exposed and would like a COVID-19 test should schedule an appointment by calling 781-278-4499 and asking for the Norwood Community Testing Program. Pre-registration is required. This is not a walk-in clinic. Testing is for individuals who have not previously received a test. Any resident in need of a retest in order to be able to go back to work should contact their physician. Testing is offered Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. by appointment only at Norwood Hospital's testing facility at the rear of the hospital campus, located at 800 Washington Street. Residents should make sure to bring their insurance card if receiving a test. Health insurance will be charged, but there is no out-of-pocket direct cost for residents. Proof of residency is required. Residents are asked to bring a photo ID, license, light bill, or lease. The town will cover the costs for a limited number of uninsured residents. There are no additional fees collected by the hospital for the test. Results are expected in 48 to 72 hours after the test is given. The Norwood Health Department will contact residents with their results from the Community Testing Program. For those who test positive, the department will ask those individuals to isolate at home and will conduct contact tracing to quarantine close contacts.
We'll be right back after this break for some more town news. Welcome back. A number of local businesses have adjusted their regular operations to assist in producing medical supplies and protective gear during the COVID-19 pandemic. Other businesses have donated equipment for these supplies, as well as N95 masks, gloves, and disinfectants. Lieutenant John Cody of the Norwood Fire Department coordinated and secured the donations by visiting local businesses.
Well, when this first started, PPE was clearly going to become an issue for our long-term needs. Mike Chisholm reached out to certain corporations to see if they had any N95s. I began to do the same as the fire prevention officer, knocking on doors, going into businesses calling us to see what they could do. One of the masks that were produced, one of the very first masks by AmeriCAD. Now you have to remember there were no PPE needs, and they produced 735 of these face shields that we were able to backfeed to our hospitals and our nursing staffs. That was done out of their kindness. We didn't even approach them. A mask that was made by Steel Art. 800 masks that we have been able to use both for our ambulances, for Norwood Hospital, for our assisted living facilities, with more to come. Again, donations by these companies to us. As I went around and asked different surgical units and different nursing homes what they needed, we were able to take gear that no one could find on a local level and backfill it to these assisted living, to the nursing homes, while remaining operationally sufficient. Things like masks that no one had, Ernie Block donated 1,000 of them. Ocean State Job Lot, 200 of them. These right here, this is what we can put on patients. We have remained operationally sufficient because of the goodness of the people. As MEMA has tried to find everybody, it's the people like us in town that are protecting each other. John Shelby down at Rojo's has donated thousands of gloves. Candy Ellis, a local nurse at a surgical unit, gave Covicide. That doesn't sound like much. That's a disinfectant cleaner that our medics use on their ambulances that turn over the ambulance much quicker. As you can imagine, the process of degowning and gowning up, the calls still come in. Joe over at Lustre Cleaners. This mask that I'm wearing, they're producing that from donated material from Walmart, 90 yards. I walked in and asked the store in Walmart, and the manager said, whatever we can do to support our local people. I brought that down. His seamstress makes this. They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're taking these masks and producing them. They are in all the departments. They'll be used for when we want to do our elections. The town is going to provide for our elderly, our most critical in need. Again, a local level. That doesn't mention the hospitals that needed surgical units. They have no gowns. We found them gowns. That came from donations from those nurses like Candy Ellis. When I went along and I started knocking on various businesses that I had performed inspections, Keedy Pest Control, masks and gloves, here you go. Thank you, stay safe. When I went to Modern Pest Control, N95 masks, a box of 20. They didn't think about their needs, they thought about the greater good. There were no questions. There was an apology that there wasn't more. You go to the hotels. If you can think back when there were no water for our trucks, you couldn't find bottled water, cases of bottled water, disinfectants, soaps, whatever we needed. Everyone in this town on a local level has given to Norwood Fire so that each day I can go out and try to give a little to the assisted living facilities and the nursing homes. The people that we talk about on the news that are most affected, that's what this is about, and that's what's happened on a daily basis. We can't possibly thank everyone. To the people out there that have donated, thank you so much. I know that this list is so much more encompassing than what I'm saying. Please keep it up. It's making a tremendous difference. That's not on my behalf. I talk to the nurses and the doctors and these directors of these facilities, and they are literally life-saving measures. So on behalf of Norwood Fire Department and the men and women of Norwood Fire, thank you so much. Please stay safe.
Thank you, Lieutenant Cody, for coordinating this effort, and big thanks to all the businesses who are helping out. When the COVID-19 crisis began, Susan Clare knew that she needed to do something to help those working on the front lines. She put one of her talents to use by starting to sew masks. Little did she know how her sewing a few masks at first would turn into thousands.
On Neighbors Helping Neighbors, the Norwood Facebook page, someone mentioned something about masks and nurses needing them. And I just threw out there, would someone like to join me in making some masks for some nurses? And I was thinking maybe 10 or 20 good-hearted people might join me, and we'd sit at home and sew and make masks for nurses. I had no idea that Norwood had this kind of spirit. It got so big so fast, we took over Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and I said, will someone set us up a Facebook page quick, please, because I don't know how. And Erica Macias, one of our members who's unable to be here tonight, said, I'll do that for you. And she set us up with a Facebook page, and then Casey or Erica set us up with an email, and we were in business.
Even though the group is located in Norwood, they have been serving communities all over the Commonwealth.
So we started out with a spreadsheet of just local places that were looking for masks, Norwood Hospital being amongst them. A lot of the all the local nursing homes, so Charlwell, Ellis, Victoria Haven, Benchmark, all of those. And those were really our primary focus, making sure that all of our local frontline people were covered. The police station, they've gone to Norwood DPW, the light department, the fire department, food services at the schools, so that the staff who are serving all the lunches to the kids every day are protected. Food pantry, we've covered them. And there's been a lot of VNAs and assisted living places, so senior living, seniors at home, they're the caregivers that are going in there. And then as we started getting masks out to Norwood, we started getting requests from other towns as well. So there've been a lot of group homes for people with intellectual disabilities or physical disabilities. Lots of hospitals. We've done Kearney Hospital, Sturdy, the Brigham, MGH, Brockton. So I mean, literally like pretty much everywhere we've gotten masks to. So we've gone as far south as Marshfield. We've gone as far north as Danvers, out to Concord. We've gotten masks to Emerson Hospital for their COVID unit. So, I mean, and I think that now we might actually be close to 8,000 masks and now surgical caps as well that we've gotten out to places.
For this group of incredible individuals, their one goal is to help.
And this has been a labor of love by a lot of people. But honestly, we're all tired, but we all do what we do. But I have to say, and I'll say it, I think I said it to somebody else the other day, we're in this to work ourselves out of a job like the Peace Corps. We'll do this as long as we have to, but the goal is not to ever have to do this again. So, you know, thanks to everybody out there who's donating fabric, their time, whatever they can donate. And again, that email is norwoodmasks@gmail.com.
The new Norwood Mustang Food Bank is underway at the high school. Here is Coordinator Jerry Miller with an update.
I'm coming here from the Norwood Mustang Food Bank, which has been in existence now. This is the second week. What we do is we have a schedule that every other Friday we take in food donations, and every other Wednesday we distribute the food. And in the time span between, we go through it, sort it all out, and set it up on into bags. As you can see, we have these are staging tables that are set up with all the different items on them. And there's a number that corresponds to the particular item. They go in the particular bags. We have boxes over there, have produce, and we have eggs, we have cheese, we have a roast beef today. It's really, you know, working very well. We have a great bunch of volunteers that come out and help every time we meet to get together and do this. We're doing something good, so the people really enjoy it. They enjoy coming out, they enjoy helping out. And it's nice to see that, you know, that we're able to take care of the people from Norwood, and it's really happy that we'll be involved with it.
Stay tuned after this break for some school and government news.
Hi, Sigal Reese, Norwood's Public Health Director. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have canceled this Saturday's Hazardous Waste Day. There is information on the town website about how you can privately dispose of hazardous materials. In addition, we will be having our fall collection September 26th.
Welcome back. Since the closing of school on Friday, March 13th, yes, it was Friday the 13th, we should have known then, teachers at all levels across the district have adapted their curriculum to remote learning. This has created all new lessons and a new delivery of those lessons. Let's check in with high school math teacher Laura Mullen and learn how she is using technology to teach math.
All right, some things that the math department has been doing during the school closure to try and teach our kids to engage with them, to give them some sense of normalcy, has really revolved around Google Classroom. So having the students have their Chromebooks and having access to Google Classroom where we can assign different information to them, assign videos, collect work this way has been really helpful. We've used Google Forms to do some check-ins with the students just to see how they're doing during the week, see if there's anything we can be doing to help them. Google Forms is also helpful in giving us data so we can see how students do on particular questions and topics that we need to go over further. Google Meets obviously have been great, and we love seeing our kids there. But in addition to that, we've used a lot of resources available to us as math teachers, such as Khan Academy, which has videos. It has different articles and exercises that we're able to assign to students, and then we get feedback as to how they do, which is great. We use Edulastic a lot, which is a website that is designed around MCAS and other standardized test questions. So we can give kids practice taking tests from home, seeing, you know, how to use the Chromebooks to navigate the different websites, which is helpful. And this material goes all the way from, you know, elementary school math all the way up through calculus. So that's been really great. Flipped Math is another resource that has just a whole year's worth of videos and problems and solutions for students, which is great. Math teachers tend to be a little type A, so we like to do things certain ways. So we've also been working a lot on our own Screencastify videos, showing them how to do problems there. We've also been making our own, homemade videos with whatever resources we have, just to go over the different to give instructions to students in a way that's familiar to them. It's me, explaining the problems as I've been explaining them all year to them, just to give them some familiarity. So we've been really lucky with all the different tools that we've been given, and the fact that our kids have the Chromebooks, but nothing takes the place of that human interaction and being able to see our kids face to face, and we miss it, and we can't wait to see everybody again, hopefully soon.
As an educator in this district as well, it has been so impressive to see the teachers come together and create these amazing lessons so quickly and so dynamically. So just a huge shout out to all the work that they're doing. Friday, May 1st, was proclaimed School Lunch Hero Day by Governor Baker. This was a day to thank the food staff for working the school grab-and-go lines. Here in Norwood, the food service staff wore special shirts to celebrate, and Eli Norris, Director of Dining Services, and the office staff put on their blue aprons to turn the tables. They packaged up gourmet meals for the school lunch heroes so they could enjoy a meal when they got home. Several families took the afternoon to drive around to all of the meal sites to say thank you to each of the team members who have continued to provide meals during these difficult times. Thank you so much for helping our families stay healthy. In government, the Board of Selectmen met twice on Tuesday via the internet. They held an executive session at 2 p.m. and met publicly at 6 p.m. The main topic of the evening was the proposed FY21 budget. General Manager Tony Mazzucco gave an in-depth presentation to the board. One of the highlights of the presentation was the budgetary impact of COVID-19.
School aid, you're usually held harmless. What will happen with the Student Opportunities Act, we don't know. But I'm not as concerned with those numbers. Even though the state is facing a revenue shortfall, we will have to wait until the fall to really see where we are. FY22 will be much more of a challenging budget where we may see flat revenues with 21. And that's always our concern, is when revenues are flat, we know that our expenses grow. That's when the budget starts getting constrained. So growth in those other revenues is critical.
The Board of Selectmen will meet again next week. Also on Tuesday, the Zoning Board of Appeals met for the first time since February 4th. The board had 2 hearings and a request for modification on their agenda. To start the meeting, the board held a hearing for 81 Winter Street and 34 to 36 Walpole Street for a conversion from mixed and commercial use to residential use only. After an hour-long discussion from the board, the applicant, and even members of the public, a motion was made to separately vote on the conversion and the parking compliance.
So just on the conversion for the properties in question, pursuant to section 5.2, Phil, how do you vote on that?
I would vote to approve. To grant.
Jack, how do you vote on it? Thank you.
Approve.
Jack? Pat?
Approve.
And Scott?
Approve.
And I'll approve it as well. So I'm going to vote, that's a 5-0 vote.
I think we'd like a final decision. So if the board feels it's not necessary, we can withdraw the request for parking relief if the board agrees that it's not necessary. And that's what I understand the comments to be. We would withdraw the request under section 6.1.12. And then that way your vote on the other matter becomes I'd rather that become a final decision than not have something appear to be still pending before the board.
The second hearing of the night was for a special permit to allow an alteration of an existing residence. The applicant was applying for a stairway to be built for a second-floor apartment. Some of the board members had concerns with the application, so a decision was made to continue the hearing until their next meeting. The last application of the night was a request for modification, which, after strong words from all the board members, the applicant withdrew. The next ZBA meeting will be May 19th. Thursday afternoon, NCM covered the annual road resurfacing bid opening meeting. Contract Administrator Kathy Carney received and opened 5 bids during the quick meeting. To end the meeting, Carney recapped the lowest bids.
The apparent low bidder at this point is LaRusso Corporation at $1,616,668.36. The second low bidder is T. Miozzi at $1,677,012.40. And the third low bidder is Aggregate Industries at $1,741,204.
For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for some more town news.
Hi, Sigal Reese, Norwood's Public Health Director. Want to remind residents that we are still following the governor's guidelines to stay home as much as possible. But I also want people to know it's okay to go outside and enjoy the outdoors. You can take a walk with your family or take a bike ride and get some exercise. But it's also important to maintain that social distancing from others and that 6-foot separation. You can also wash your hands before you leave and when you come home. But the most important thing is to avoid gathering in large groups. We don't want to see groups of people playing basketball or other contact sports, and we need to maintain social distancing. So definitely go out, enjoy the fresh air, but do it in a safe way, and together we can all stop and slow the spread of COVID-19.
Welcome back. Impact Norwood has been a great resource throughout this entire COVID-19 crisis. They have offered many programs to the community, and most recently they announced a virtual event series coming up. Program Director Aubrey Seal has all the details.
I wanted to let the community know about some really wonderful opportunities we have coming up for virtual events to help support the community's mental health. Coming up actually this Thursday, I think it's the 7th. Thursday the 7th at 7 p.m. We have a Food for Thought webinar. Kelsey Massis, she is the resident dietitian for Norwood School District, and she is going to be talking about how different foods affect our mood. And at the end, she's going to be demonstrating a mood-boosting recipe with common pantry items. So that should be pretty fun. And then coming up on Monday, May 11th, we have pandemic parenting for grades K through 5. So it's kind of a one-stop shop webinar for parents who have little ones about how to balance working from home, virtual learning, self-care for parents who have younger children. And then on May 14th, we have a sleep, stress, and social distancing webinar. So it's exploring the connection between those three things and how your sleep can impact your mental health. My sleep schedule has been crazy since all of this started, so it'll be good to get some tips and tricks about how we can get better sleep to support our mental health during this crazy time. If anybody has any questions or wants to check out more information about the virtual events, they're on our Impact Norwood website, impactnorwood.org, or people can email me at acial@norwoodma.gov.
Just last week, the police department received 3 new Ford hybrid SUVs, which have been added to their fleet. The new vehicles have a sleek new look and a slightly larger build compared to the older SUVs. Although the initial price may be higher, the hybrid system will save money on gas and is also better for the environment. Chief Brooks explains the process of how the department purchases radio cars.
We order the cars from a dealership. In this case, it's Colonial Motor Group down on the South Shore. And we ordered these 3 units back actually several months ago. And they come in black. So the cars start out as black cars. The first thing they do is they paint the white areas. And our cars, like many of the cars in the area, have kind of an LAPD paint style to them. So that is that the 4 doors and the roof are all painted white. Next thing that happens is the graphics go on. And of course we have the town seal on the door and it says Norwood Police. The unit numbers on the front fender and the 911 is on the rear fender. And then if you look at them from the rear, they say police. So once the cars are painted and the graphics have been applied, then they're upfitted. In other words, all the gear is put in. So this one behind me, you see the roof lights, the blue lights that are mounted to the roof. The one in the middle here doesn't have roof lights. It's what we call a semi-marked. And what a semi-marked is it's used for traffic enforcement. Instead of having lights on the roof, the lights are embedded in the windshield, and it doesn't have the trunk markings that say police. Other than that, the markings between a semi-marked and a fully marked are the same. And then there is a prisoner compartment that's in the rear. We use a prisoner compartment where the prisoner would sit on the passenger side in the rear seat. Then once the cars arrive here, 2 other things take place. Laptop computers are installed in the cabin of the cruiser.
and also the radios. And what you see going on behind me is that Cybercom is here, and they're the company that we use to install the radios. The radios they're installing are not brand new radios. They were removed from the cars that we traded in. And that's true of much of the upfit equipment. For instance, the blue lights actually come from the cars we just traded in. So by the end of today, these cars will be on the road. Officers have already been driving them, operating them off a portable radio instead of a mobile radio. But they'll be fully upfitted by really by the end of today, and then we'll own these cars for about the next 3 years. If you get any questions, you can contact us over social media. You can always send us an email. We'd be happy to answer individual questions from citizens about these new cars. And until I see you next time, thanks.
Many businesses have had to adapt to how they operate during the COVID-19 crisis. President of Norwood Bank, John Galvani, gives us an update on how Norwood Bank is still operating, but also protecting its employees.
It's been a change. The biggest thing we did early on is we started moving people to work from home. We were concerned with everybody in one building. If one person got sick, then we would have had to send a lot of people home. So what we did is, I believe it was around the beginning of March 16th, we started sending people to work from home. We made a huge investment in technology the last 3 years. So we were able to send people home to work with laptops, and then through VPN, they've been able to work from home. So we went from about 55 people working here to now about 8 people working here and the rest working from home. So, and all of the employees have been able to work from home, remain productive, and as typical Norwood Bank employees do, they just took the challenge on. They've flourished, and we've been able to do all the things pretty much from here. Now they're doing them from home. So it just
now, if you wanted to go to the bank, obviously you can't go inside, but you can do everything through the teller.
You can, through the drive up. The branch is closed. We do appointment only if people need to get into their safe deposit box. But just for the safety of the customers and the employees, the branch has been closed, and pretty much every bank in the country's done the same thing. But our customers have been so understanding. They realize the risk, the safety risk. So they were all good with it, understood why we had to do it. They're happy to use the drive up. Some walk up to the drive up, but they've been really understanding about that. They've been very patient, and it's worked out well. No complaints, so it's been good.
Now, how are you guys handling mortgages and loans? I don't know, if someone was in the process of buying a house right now, how are you handling the mortgage process or a personal or business loan?
We're still making them. The closings have been a little more difficult. Just some people are not comfortable going into an attorney's office. They can't come in here. But our closing attorneys have been great. Some have been closing loans, going out to their car. They stay in the parking lot. So it's been pretty interesting. Like I said, everybody has really pitched in. They understand these are pretty unique times. There's no playbook for us to use to figure out how we get through this stuff. But it's all worked. As I said, the customers have embraced this challenge. They've been opening accounts online with that technology I mentioned. We've had the last 3 years. They open all accounts online. They can check their balances, make transfers, deposits. So it's been great. We have learned a lot, and our customers have learned a lot.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.